Let me tell you something most people learn far too late. The people who win the most battles in life are rarely the ones who fight. Not the loudest, not the angriest, not the ones who always have a comeback ready. In fact, every time you react, every time you argue, defend yourself, or try to prove you're right, you quietly lose something. You lose energy. You lose leverage. And sometimes, you lose respect. If you've ever walked away from an argument feeling drained, frustrated, or strangely weaker, this video is for you. Because the most dangerous people don't raise their voice, they raise uncertainty. And once you understand why, you'll stop fighting forever and start winning in a way most people never even notice. But first, you need to understand why almost everyone loses the moment they think they're standing up for themselves. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people never question. We're taught that standing up for yourself means responding, explaining, defending, proving your point. But psychologically, that's where the loss begins. Think about the last argument you had. At work, in a relationship, with a friend. The moment your emotions rose, what happened? Your voice changed. Your breathing changed. Your need to be understood became visible, and the other person felt it. Because the moment you react emotionally, you hand them information. What triggers you? What you care about? Where you're vulnerable? That's not strength. That's exposure. In power dynamics, the person who reacts first is already behind. Not because they're wrong, but because they're predictable. You see this everywhere. At work, the calm person who says less is often respected more than the one constantly explaining themselves. In relationships, the person who stays centered has more influence than the one trying to win every argument. In ego clashes, the one who wins the argument usually loses the long game. Because power isn't taken in conflict, it's usually given away the moment you feel the need to fight back. And once you see this pattern, you start to realize something unsettling. What we call standing up for ourselves is often just emotional reflex dressed up as strength. So if fighting makes you lose, what actually makes people respect you? That answer sits deeper, and it changes everything about how human behavior works. Here's the rule no one spells out, but everyone feels. People don't respect emotional intensity. They respect emotional control. Think about it. When someone stays calm under pressure, when their tone doesn't change, when their body language doesn't collapse into reaction, something subtle happens in your mind. You start paying attention, because calmness, on a psychological level, signals certainty. And certainty is interpreted as power. This is why the loudest person in the room rarely leads it. This is why the calmest presence often does. Human beings are wired to scan for stability. We subconsciously follow those who seem unmoved by chaos. And here's the part most people miss. Unpredictability creates unease, but unreadability creates authority. When people can't tell what you're thinking, when they can't provoke you, when your reactions don't match their expectations, they hesitate. They second-guess themselves. They regulate their emotions around you. That's the hidden shift. Not domination, not intimidation, influence. And the quieter you become, the louder your presence feels. Once you understand this rule, you start asking a dangerous question. If calm creates power, what happens when you stop speaking altogether? Most people fear silence. They rush to fill it, explain themselves, clarify, justify, because silence feels like losing control. But psychologically, silence is often where control returns. When you stay silent, something uncomfortable happens to the other person. They start talking. They project their assumptions onto you. They reveal their intentions. They expose their insecurities without realizing it. Silence creates a vacuum. And human beings hate vacuums. This is why over-explaining weakens your position. The more you explain, the more you signal uncertainty. The more you defend yourself, the more you imply guilt. The more you talk, the less weight your words carry. Value works the same way as scarcity. The less available something is, the more attention it commands. Your words are no different. When you speak only when necessary, when you let pauses breathe, when you refuse to chase validation, your presence gains gravity. Silence doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're not desperate to be understood, and that alone changes how people treat you. But silence is only the surface. The real power lies in what happens inside you when you stop reacting altogether. This is where things start to shift, from strategy to mastery. Non-reaction isn't weakness, it's discipline. Most manipulation works only because it feeds on emotional response. Anger needs resistance. Provocation needs outrage. Control needs your attention. The moment you stop reacting, the mechanism breaks. You've probably seen this before. Someone tries to provoke you. They push, they poke, they expect a reaction. And when it doesn't come, they feel it. Confusion replaces confidence. Aggression turns into insecurity. Control slips, because emotional neutrality is destabilizing to aggressive personalities. They don't know where they stand with you. They can't read you. They can't escalate. And here's the key insight. The person who needs the least reaction controls the room, not by force, not by dominance, but by refusing to be emotionally pulled. Detachment, in this sense, isn't coldness, it's leverage. You're no longer fighting energy with energy. You're letting their intensity collapse under its own weight. And once you experience this, even once, you realize something liberating. You don't need to dominate people. You just need to stop feeding them. Now imagine what happens when this isn't just a momentary tactic, but a consistent presence. That's when power starts shifting, without a single word being spoken. Here's what most people never notice. Power often shifts before anything is said. The moment you stop reacting, people begin adjusting themselves around you. They slow down. They choose their words more carefully. They check their tone. Not because you demanded respect, but because your calm presence introduces uncertainty. Uncertainty makes people self-regulate. Think about the leaders you've respected the most. The negotiators who always seemed in control. The individuals who never rushed to speak. They weren't aggressive. They weren't loud. They were unmovable. They didn't mirror chaos. They didn't chase outcomes. They didn't reveal urgency. And because of that, others did the work for them. In conversations, they waited. In conflict, they paused. In pressure, they stayed steady. That steadiness forces the other side to fill the gap, to explain more, justify more, reveal more. This is why calm presence feels powerful. People feel it before they understand it. They sense that pushing won't work, that provoking won't land, that emotional tactics won't move you. And when nothing moves you, everything starts moving around you. The strongest position is not attack, it's unmovability. But here's where most people get stuck. Even when they understand this, their ego still wants to win. And that need to visibly win is often what quietly destroys real power. This is the part the ego hates, because everything inside you wants to correct people, to prove your point, to win the moment. But here's the psychological reality. Winning visibly often costs you influence invisibly. When you win an argument, what usually happens next? The other person doesn't feel enlightened. They feel exposed, embarrassed, defensive. And defensiveness doesn't create respect. It creates resistance. That's why people who always win arguments are rarely trusted, followed, or respected long-term. Real power thinks in time, not moments. Sometimes the strongest move is letting the other person believe they won. Because while they relax, while their guard drops, your position quietly strengthens. Strategic restraint builds reputation. It signals confidence without needing validation. You don't rush. You don't chase closure. You don't need the last word. And over time, something interesting happens. People remember how you made them feel. Calm, safe, unthreatened. not how clever your argument was. Power doesn't rush to be seen, it waits to be felt. But to do this consistently, something deeper has to change. Because letting go of visible wins requires inner security, and that's where the real transformation begins. Here's the shift that turns all of this from a tactic into a way of being. Winning without fighting doesn't start outside of you. It starts when you no longer need external validation to feel stable. Most emotional reactions come from one place: the fear of losing status, of being disrespected, of being misunderstood. But the moment you stop outsourcing your worth to other people's reactions, something powerful happens. You become emotionally independent. And emotional independence is freedom. When you're no longer provoked by opinions, no longer shaken by tone, no longer pulled into ego games, your mind becomes quieter, your body relaxes, your decisions become cleaner. Detachment doesn't make you cold, it makes you clear. You stop fighting battles that never deserved your energy. You stop carrying anger that never served you. You stop reacting to things that were designed to control you. And this is the deepest lesson of all. When nothing can provoke you, nothing can control you. This isn't about power over others. It's about power over yourself. And once you reach this place, winning without fighting stops being something you do. It becomes who you are.
So let's bring everything together. You don't lose power because you're not aggressive enough. You lose power when you react without awareness. You don't gain respect by raising your voice. You gain it by staying grounded when others can't. Real strength doesn't announce itself. It doesn't argue. It doesn't chase validation. It holds its position. When you stop fighting every challenge, you conserve energy. When you stop explaining yourself, your words gain weight. When you stop reacting emotionally, you become harder to move and harder to manipulate. This is what winning without fighting actually means. Not avoidance, not weakness, but self-mastery. So the next time someone tries to pull you into conflict, pause, breathe, observe. Let silence work. Let calm do the heavy lifting. Because in a world addicted to reaction, the person who remains centered becomes untouchable. You don't win by fighting harder. You win by becoming untouchable.